It'll always be freedom. It'll always be freedom.
Hey, anarchists, freedom lovers, and rebels with a cause. Get ready for Liberpulco, the most anticipated anarchist gathering of the year in Europe. Join us at Arc Liberland Village right here in Apatin, Serbia for an unforgettable experience. We're talking inspiring speakers, hands-on workshops to ignite your passions, and epic parties that'll keep you moving all night long. And don't miss the highlight, a boat cruise to Liberland itself. Connect with like minds, share ideas, and build the future we believe in. Grab your tickets now at Liberpulco.com. That's Liberpulco.com. Your freedom, your community, your revolution. See you there.
Welcome to Conversations in Anarchy. My name is Laura and I'm your host today. We're getting ready for Liberpulco. That is less than in a month from us, and looking forward to meeting everyone in Serbia, Apatin, Arc Village. And today I have two speakers visiting the show. And please welcome Samantha Pilbeam and Gregory Garrett. Hi guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
So I would like to start with this question. Like, if I, for example, open liberpulco.com and scroll through the speakers, you, Samantha, you are there as spiritual freedom advocate. And you, Greg, you are the corporate yogi. Could you guys explain what does that mean in like real life, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'll go first. So spiritual freedom advocate. So I'm taking the lead, if you like, on frequency and how to be internally free. So then that has an effect on your external life. So I'm helping people to become uplifted, to focus on the positives, to be optimistic, and to clear out any negative beliefs or things holding them back in life. So it's about, coming into your center, knowing who you are and your truth, and also not necessarily listening to the society, if you don't feel that that's true within you, and also dogma and things like that. It's not about following the crowd. It's about knowing from a place of intuition what the truth is. And this is, true freedom. And I'm sure many of the listeners are interested in that, already, feeling this way. So it's someone who lives authentically, who knows that we are connected to a power higher than ourselves, whether you call that source or God or even just the universe. And it's someone who's aligned with the spiritual instead of the ego. So I would say heart-based instead of a mind-based reality. And someone that is on a path of transformation, because we're here to transform. And when we transform from within, our world transforms and everyone else transforms around us. So, our family, our loved ones, they can all feel the frequency. And this is how we change the world, with frequency, because we're all energy. So.
Okay, and then as the corporate yogi, I made and lost millions 4 times in this one lifetime, up until the age of 42. I then recognized there was something deeply important I needed to pay attention to. And at that point, I changed my point of focus. I was fortunate enough to find an incredible teacher I went and studied all over the world in front of enlightened masters. And then having spent 10 years studying in a yogic capacity, I realized it was time to synthesize the corporate with the yogi, and for me to come back to the world of business in order to demonstrate how a yogi can actively participate in daily life and to demonstrate that successfully. And sometimes this loses people because they say, well, is the focus on the money? And the answer is definitely not. The path is just a metaphor. It's just an instrument through which internal transformation will occur for me. And so just to take it on a stage, I'm documenting the process from 0 to 1 million. And I'm actually sharing it via a website, which we can come on to later, where people can come and actively participate twice a week and see all of the different actions and reactions, the steps that are being taken. And in doing that, encouraging people to choose to transform their lives from what I call from 0 to 1, because their 0 might be unhappiness, their 1 might be happiness. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a journey of a financial quantum. It just simply needs to be a hero's journey that someone's undertaking, a journey inside of which they'll transform their lives.
Okay, thank you. So when you say point of focus, is it the same as the mind's?
So in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali refers to the state of meditation as a single point of focus, which is a focus that has got continuity, that is flowing to a single object of attention. And this is when a true state of meditation is achieved. So what we're really looking to do is to have this experience in life. And as the saying goes, where attention goes, energy flows. And so we're following the Yoga Sutras, we're following the state of meditation, and we're picking an object of attention upon which we choose to focus.
Is it like on a certain moment, or can it be also like long term?
Yeah, so it is very much moment to moment. And if we tune into all there is now, and, we then look at the fact that there's been books written about this, the power of now, the fact that the yogis have spoken about now for eternity. And so it is very much about where you're choosing to focus your attention now and now and now. And where you choose to focus is less important than who you're being inside of that point of focus. And the Buddhist tradition catches it beautifully. So in the Buddhist tradition, we have the saying, before I was enlightened, I chopped wood and I carried water. So we can see the focus is on chopping wood and carrying water, which actually in the Buddhist tradition, it shows that the focus is on fundamental needs. But then the quote goes on to say, and after I was enlightened, I chopped wood and I carried water. So it shows us that the activity is I would say the activity is less important. I'm not going to say it's unimportant. It's less important than the perspective that you bring to the activity. So as a yogi, what we're looking to do, most people, if we ask them, well, what do you want? They want peace and they want inner freedom. And therefore, what we're looking to do in this day and age is help people to move from inner agitation, disappointment, sadness, anger, fear, guilt, to a spaciousness of consciousness, which gifts them inner freedom. The external activity need not in that instance change, just the eyes through which that activity is experienced, and then the inner state which is enjoyed as a consequence of the shift in consciousness.
Okay. So, like, for example, I can share that me myself.
Yeah.
I am like forgetting things everywhere. And I have to focus very, very much to be mindful about, okay, now I have to put my car keys on the right shelf so that, next time I need to drive, I don't have to run all around the house and look for them. And I can see that this is awfully difficult. I have to really be mindful with every single thing. And yeah, that I can manage that if I am very, very concentrated on being mindful. But if I'm just, flowing through the day, then there's going to be many things when I'm like, oh my God, I forgot this one. And oh my God, I forgot that.
So
there. And
yeah, so the flowing through the day, Laura, is what you beautifully described there is an agitated mind. So, and the reason that it would be seen as agitated is because of let's say, the inability to immediately know where items were. Now, this plagues everyone to a greater or lesser extent. And what typically happens is the older people get, the more agitated or forgetful they become. So the requirement is to actually, you intuitively were aware, if you listen back to the recording, it requires us to choose to practice focus of attention. And as we practice the focus of attention, we become more attentive. Now, that doesn't mean we see less. Eventually, we actually expand to experience much more. But in the first instance, we realize how lazy our attentions become. And I like to use the analogy of a weathercock on top of a house that records the direction of the wind. If that is really loose and too well oiled, then it just blows everywhere in the wind like this. And in fact, the attention of an individual is being stolen moment to moment because everybody's after your attention. You might see that in terms of people being after your money, people being after the destination you're going to choose for your holiday, people being after the medical procedures they want you to pay attention to. So everyone and everything is trying to steal attention. And this is what is causing the deeper agitation of people's minds. And that's what then eventually leads to the drift or the forgetfulness that you so elegantly described. There are then remedies that can be applied, natural remedies that can support people in changing that.
Okay, let's take a little step back, talking about freedom. That is very important for all of us. But could you explain what is freedom to you guys, and why is it important?
Yeah, so I was actually raised on freedom. So my father was a member of the Freedom Association, which is a UK-based association, and I don't know how many members they have now, but I always remember him having that magazine. And actually, I'm a free spirit. I think our true nature is freedom, and we've been in this sort of world of control. We're controlled from schooling and by our parents and things like that. And I realized that actually true freedom comes through from within. And to get to that is, the path, and it's this path that's not always easy. And I would say for myself, it's been this sort of untangling from societal conditioning, family conditioning, and all the news and everything like that. And I've been on this journey actually since my 20s, but quite recently, Greg and I have the same teacher. This is about 8 years ago, and we've been studying under this spiritual master, and the practices that we do they've really, really helped with really detaching not only from the matrix to feel freedom, but also detaching from, things, from the material. And actually, the more we can detach, the more freedom we have. Because when we're attached to things, that's when pain can be caused. Because, if we're attached to something and it goes, that can cause us pain or trauma, or if we're attached to a person. So I would say, the spiritual practice helps you to become lovingly detached from things, and to realize that, material things don't bring us happiness. True happiness and freedom come from within. So when we're happy, we don't need stuff to try and make us happy, which actually is only temporary anyway. And actually, just going into this, calming of the mind, because I used to be very much like you, Laura. I was very scatty, and especially when I was a teenager, I would lose things all the time. And actually, it's been incredible on this journey to really be able to calm the mind and to focus. And actually, the more we are focused in the now, the more freedom we have from feeling agitated, because actually agitations usually are things that have happened in the past that we're still thinking about, or it can be, things that haven't even happened yet in the future that we're making up. So true freedom actually is being in control of the mind, so that you can focus on what you want when you want, so that you can detach, and also feeling love for oneself, so that you're not looking for it from the external. So that's been, part of my journey, and still is. And also freedom from the system, which is, a huge part of the journey.
So just to give a slightly different perspective, I'd start by saying, surprisingly, that freedom is a path less traveled. So there's not many people on the path to freedom. And we see that culturally. Like if we go out and interview people, maybe do the happiness interview, most people aren't happy. And most people, therefore, find themselves, as Sam was saying, attached or stuck in some way. And then returning to the Buddhist tradition, Buddhists would tell us that pain is real, which we know, but suffering is optional. And therefore, it becomes important that we dig into and understand that statement in a way that allows us to choose to heal ourselves. Another way of saying that is allows us to choose freedom. And the choice of freedom means undertaking the journey to understand the mechanism of the mind and to regain control of the mind, which is currently completely out of control in most human beings, and they don't even know it. And the reason it's out of control is because people are run by automated patterns. They simply do things day after day on repeat. And they live in a world that they sometimes describe as, their world, which is no bigger than the size of a postage stamp. And they do everything possible to avoid that world being changed or upset or disintegrated or melted down. But inside of that, they've actually built the walls of their own jail. And this dilemma that people face, this predicament, is that people need to learn to get off the postage stamp, to realize that playing small and playing safe is simply going to keep you locked in pain and not allow you to experience inner freedom.
That is, I'm sure that's so true and so much heard. But I can also relate to this feeling that kind of knowing that in the head with the mind, and agreeing to that, and also being able to observe it in, for example, my daily life, is so, it shows also how difficult it is to actually get out of this jail. And what do you think, like, why very, very many people, as you said, are not on this freedom path? Is it because they are not aware that it is actually possible, or is it something else?
Well, there is the saying, if I've asked a lot of people in my coaching and in my work, they'll give me a predicament that they're facing. And I'll say, well, do you know how to change that? And they'll say, yeah, I know how to change it. And I'll say, well, why aren't you changing it? And you get this really interesting dichotomy where people know what to do, but they actually choose not to do it. So the dilemma's deeper. We could do a survey at Liberpulco and really ask people questions about what do you think we should do, and you'd be amazed that people know what to do. Now, the dilemma, therefore, isn't the knowing what to do. The dilemma is actually doing what you need to do. And this comes from the inner predicament or challenge then of people have lost control of their willpower, and people have not got conscious control of their own energies. And the realization of these statements that I'm making should shock people to their core, because they know that what I'm speaking is actually the experience that they're having. And so what needs to happen is there needs to be an individual uprising inside of the hearts and minds of individuals to make a commitment to change and to transformation. And what I'll be revealing more of in my talk is the fact that people are actually bad at transformation. People have fallen so asleep that they choose not to change and transform. And just to highlight it for you, Laura, this is why I've adopted the Corporate Yogi. Because when my heart was opened, I used to talk, and if you go back and watch talks that Sam and I did, one of the talks that I did was on silence. And
you mean at Anarchapulco?
Anarchapulco, yeah. And so many people came up to me over the days following. What a wonderful talk. How amazing. Brilliant. But what shook me was straight after me, someone was talking about cryptocurrency. And no sooner had the talk on silence finished, that everyone was just dived straight into the cultural conditioning of making money and having this objective of creating wealth, which really is just being attracted to fool's gold. Even we take the biblical line, what does it profit a man or a woman to inherit the world but to lose their soul? And therefore, what I realized there was a need to change the communication in order for me to, so I wasn't blaming the people for not applying the opportunities that Sam and I were giving them with regards to silence. I took it personally that it was important for me to adopt an approach that allowed me to meet people where they're at. And that is the reason then that more people will listen to me, because I am documenting a journey from 0 to 1 million, which unfortunately more people on the planet are interested in that than they are in learning how to go from agitated mind to silent.
But I guess many people, especially when starting waking up and starting to notice, at least to get aware of, okay, I have many, problems, challenges, and I am not free and I am not happy. And one of the questions, especially if one wants to go out of the system as it is it might be very challenging to understand. You need some money to pay the bills and, for example, go to Liberpulco, buy a plane ticket or something. And then how to combine this mindfulness and point of change of the point of focus and expanding the cage. I guess this financial view is also like put in a small cage, that there are only certain kind of possibilities that are visible for example, me, when I'm thinking, okay, wow, how can I earn my money? How can I be free? How can I switch my focus from being employee and being good in when somebody else is leading, and how to, I don't know, do something, become a leader, become a entrepreneur, and really be the owner of my life. It's not just that your vacation is these 4 weeks and this time, and your working hours are so and so long, and then, or being in prison by kids' school because so no, you cannot go to, I don't know, to Mexico because you want to be there. If you want your kid at school, then you have to be here. The kid has to be here, and you can just use the holidays, that are there. So yeah, this financial question is so much in focus, because I guess it also gives one really quite a lot of stress if thinking about, okay, yes, I'm not happy where I am, but if I'm gonna leave this, how am I gonna survive, and how am I gonna, really thrive in my freedom? What do you think about that?
So actually, I've been in this predicament myself a while ago, and actually, if we're in that stress of stressing about what we don't want, we're never going to get what we do want. So actually, the key is to work on yourself, do the spiritual practice, to actually expand instead of contract, to calm the mind, so that actually when you're doing that, you're raising your frequency. So it's all about your energy, and then you'll attract the answers, because there is equal and opposite solutions to every problem. And that actually happened to me. I decided, okay, I want to detach from the system. I want to live more freely. And that is exactly what happened. I worked on myself, did my spiritual practice, and then solutions came to me quite easily. It was very much in flow. And so that would be my answer to that. What about you?
It's very simple, Laura. People overcomplicate it. People make excuses. People procrastinate, and it's a process. And the starting point for everybody listening to this is right here, right now. And what you simply do is you map out in extreme honesty what your circumstances are, and realize that is point zero. And then you make a decision about the direction that you choose to move in. And you undertake that with a burning aspiration, with fire in your belly. And actually, most people have just become lazy because life's just so comfortable in many ways. Central heatings, couches, comfy beds. And, this wasn't always the case. And that's why, as a generation of people, we're again not good at transformation, because we want to maintain the comfort zone. And then to get out of the predicament, we need to get out of the comfort zone. And what does that look like? We need to make sacrifices. And what is it we're going to sacrifice? We're going to sacrifice some of the current comforts right now in order to get to where we really want to get to, this transformed place. Reality, most people are just not prepared to make the necessary sacrifices and to plot the course from where they are and simply put one foot in front of the other and realize it's a process. If you want it from that's more of a reductionistic view, but from a yogic point of view, you've got eternity. So the right time to get started is now, and the right time to get started will always be now. Yeah, maybe there's no hurry.
So is that also, you guys have this, how was it called? Heart Wisdom Collective?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true? Yeah, Heart Wisdom Collective. Is that is on a platform that's called School, right?
Yeah, so we've just transformed the platform. So on that platform now, you'll find the Corporate Yogi, so which is full of heart wisdom, because the heart is where all the answers are. But if people are looking for this, it's www.school.com/transformation. So it's quite easy. School.com/transformation. And then they will arrive at the Corporate Yogi, and we will hold their hands and help them to work out what their current point of origin is, and then to work out the process, the steps that need to be taken.
Yes, that is in the descriptions below, the link. So everyone can click on it and check it out. Do you want to tell more, like, how are you holding the people's hand in like praxis?
Yeah, so in terms of holding people's hands, it's important that we sufficiently direct with people, because, otherwise people do enjoy these irritations of the mind, like confusion, procrastination, and getting lost in these inner mental tortures and dilemmas. So what's really important is to help people to understand that the journey is really an inner journey. And the key thing that is going to change when shifting someone's perspective. So a beautiful way to imagine this is, imagine that coming to our site is like going to an optician's. And what we're going to do is we're going to change your glasses so that you see the world differently. The world, which it always has done, is still going to show up. You're still going to have your villains and your angels, and you're going to have your bad actors, and you're going to have these tragedies on international and global scales. All of these things are going to continue to occur. Yet what we're going to learn to do is to change our attitudes and change our perspectives so that we're able to see these dilemmas and these predicaments differently. And what does that mean then? It simply means that we learn to see the illusion for what it is, and we attach less and less to it. And as we attach less and less, as Sam pointed out at the start, we free ourselves. And in freeing ourselves, we experience the inner freedom, which is our birthright.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining that. I want to ask Sam, you are still working also on the breath work, on angelic breath.
Yes.
Is this a part of the Heart Wisdom Collective, or is it like your own thing?
Yeah, so it is my own thing, and I've done that for probably about 15 years now. So the angelic breath, I've only in the past year or so, I've created that because I trained in neurolinguistic programming and also angelic Reiki, and I decided to add those two to the session. And it's highly effective. You've had sessions with me, Laura, haven't you? So you can vouch for that. And I've got many testimonials. It's a really beautiful therapy, and it's partly dialogue, but the main bulk of the therapy is the breath work, and it's actually rebirthing breath work. So it helps people to access the subconscious layer. And this is where a lot of the traumas are held, the negative beliefs. So when we can access that layer, we can do some really deep work and deep healing there. And this works on a very deep energetic layer, and it bypasses the conscious mind and the ego, because also actually when we have trauma, there's a part of the brain that shuts down the speaking part. So sometimes when people have had trauma and they just can't speak, that they've got no words, and that can get locked in the body. So this sort of therapy is ideal for that, because it can help release it. And many clients they come to me, and after 10 sessions, they're like, wow, their life's transformed, and that they're good to go. What I am an advocate of, as well as Greg, is this constant upward transformation. So what I normally do when people come to me for therapy, so usually I'll sign them up for the 10 sessions, and then after that I'll recommend that they join our school site, the Corporate Yogi, and we have a number of courses on there just to keep them transforming. We have free stuff on there as well, and Greg can tell you a bit more about that. But yeah, so I'm very passionate about the rebirthing breath work. It's helped me tremendously, and it's really fantastic for, and actually I think one of the fastest way to clear out trauma and negative beliefs. I mean, I had someone coming to me and he said after 2 sessions, he'd cleared more than he had in multiple talking therapy sessions that he'd had. So yeah, it really is fantastic.
It's beyond words, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I want to point out to our audience that if you guys go on Anarchapulco's channel and scroll through the videos that are there, like about a year ago, Sam had an interview with Miranda Webb, and there is like exactly, okay, it feels like a lot of information about the breath work and how you started doing that, how it helped you. So guys, in the description below, there is also a link to that video. So I advise you to check it out to get to understand what breath work really is. And that conversation is so strong or inspiring that actually after watching that one, I felt, and I was in a difficult state of life, and I felt like, okay, that's it. I have to try that out. And I contacted you, Sam, and we did the sessions. And I remember already on the first one, that you helped me reach this understanding that despite I have had several and different things happening to me as a little child or later in life, that I have a choice to be an adult now and not being trapped in those fears or uncertainties. And despite I'm not totally transformed yet, I guess that's one of the reasons, because first it takes a time to integrate this in the daily life, and then as you say, it is important to continue, because the layers of subconsciousness or unconsciousness are many, and when we feel that, okay, I have done a lot of work now, I can start my beautiful life, then after a while this another layer might or definitely will show itself. And then there is this, confusion, and also, again, listening to the people around and thinking, okay, is that true what they are saying? Am I doing this or that wrongly? Or where am I at? So I'm sure it is important to continue. And it sounds like you guys, despite you have achieved already so many things, that you are still having a teacher and are working on yourselves. It's like never-ending story with the work on yourself. No?
Yeah, never-ending story. It is, but it's also it's also a very interesting journey, and it's life, isn't it? Things are going to happen, and actually, if we're on a spiritual path, keeping our energy clean, our channel clean, uplifted, then it's gonna be slightly easier to work through whatever's coming at us in life. Yes, there's, like Greg said earlier, there's always going to be things happening in the world, some tragedies, some wars, but we don't have to focus on that. As long as we can focus on what's inside of us and just keep going, we can actually transform the world that way, because our frequency, our resonance has an effect on those around us and other people. So if we all did that, we'd have this fantastic, peaceful, harmonious world if we all lifted our vibration and worked on our frequency. So it is a consistent transformation, upward transformation. And actually, as you transform, things in your life that you want to transform will happen more quickly. So, there's no need to wait around. Why not just keep transforming? The only thing that stops us is, the lack of willpower and the ego, and this kind of feeling of like, oh, I'm just going to stay where I am because comfort is safety. Well, we might think that, but actually comfort is dangerous when it comes to transformation, because if we stay in this comfort zone, we're not going to transform. And then, things might happen that will force us to transform in not such a nice way. So it's always better to really take the lead and keep going yourself with that.
But then when we talk about the comfort zone, does this, when we are in the comfort zone, it's like safe, it's cozy, it's calm. It's not?
No, it's totally not. If you want to know where the next problem is going to hit you, it's going to hit you in the comfort zone, because we're designed to move forward. From the cradle to the grave, we are on this planet, in this incarnation, we're designed to transform. That is the calling of I believe that's the calling of this planet. And I've met people who are super high, people who have transformed in magical and mysterious ways. And the gifts that they then possess, in terms of, as you may say, human beings, but spiritual beings, they've been able to, and I've seen them demonstrate things that are beyond what you could imagine is possible. And that came out of the desire to transform. And this Upward Transformation, a great book if people want to read a book, a lot of people have read it, I'd encourage you to read it again, is The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And the reason that book is so pivotal, just to bring it into context, Steve Jobs at his funeral left a copy for everyone who attended. That's how important Jobs believed it was. And this book, it documents Yogananda's life, yet there's individual chapters that talk about the yogic capabilities of some of the yogis so that we begin to tune into and appreciate the capabilities of this beautiful mind, body, spirit system that we all have been given. And yet, in order to access those capabilities, we have to choose to transform. And so we're given the skills and capabilities, we're given the context, which is this earth plane, and then we're given the opportunity to choose to transform or not to transform. What do we know? Most people are choosing to sit in a comfort zone and not transform. And, I'm here to encourage people that now is the time to start transforming again. And if you've had 6 months off, a year off, 5, 10, that's okay. Now is the time to start transforming again, because you're capable of so much more. And just when you leave the body and your spirit finally exits the body, do you take your money with you? No. Even as the yogi going to amass the £1 million fortune, I am declaring I am not taking the million with me. But what I am taking with me are all of the beautiful inner attitudes that I've developed on the path, on that journey to that particular destination. And it's beyond the scope of our chat now. Yet I assure you that you don't take material wealth, you do take the inner abundance with you.
My partner might object. I mean, probably he wouldn't object on taking all the other things with you, but he would say that the material, for example, 1 million, gives you the freedom of bigger choice, like in the physical world, like freedom of moving more around and freedom of being freer from the system and the rules it puts on oneself. And he's working hard.
Yeah, and I would say to him, I too was lost in that. In the ancient texts, I wouldn't say this to him, but in the ancient texts, people are referred to as ignorance. And the ignorant is the person who is lost in the material illusion. And being lost in the material illusion means that we accumulate and we allow the mind in all its stupidity, and I'm not referring to your partner, we allow the mind in all its stupidity to convince us that the accumulation of everything that we're going to lose is the important thing to do, because it gives us freedom. But let me contextualize it. It gives freedom in the illusion. It gives freedom in the illusory world. It doesn't create the true inner freedom, which is the inner freedom and peace that people are looking for. And the real dilemmas are accentuated because if you think about it, on our deathbeds, we're going to be put under a microscope where you will not be able to buy your way out of the situation financially, but you can buy yourself peace by having done the inner work and the inner transformation.
Yeah. Then talking about, you mentioned Anarchapulco. You guys have been there how many times now?
Twice.
Twice as speakers.
Yeah.
And last year you were at the Liberpulco, the first Liberpulco. And
Right.
if I understand it correctly, you, Greg, were not. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, Sam, could you maybe tell our audience how was it different? Like those two events, Anarchapulco and Liberpulco, in your experience?
So it was Liberpulco's first year, last year. And so obviously it was, it's a smaller event. It was in a very beautiful location, right next to a lake with a sauna, and they had, a great setup there, stage, and smaller catering. But yeah, it's a really really amazing event for people to go to from Europe, because obviously Mexico's a long way to travel. So I would highly recommend. There's amazing speakers, really great people there, like-minded people, and we had lots of fun. So yeah, highly recommend it. Lots of workshops and things for kids and families as well. So looking forward to this year.
And do you guys feel like, despite Greg, you mentioned already, that this Anarchapulco conference, when you had the speech on silence, was it? Yeah. And then after that was the cryptocurrency thing, and the people kind of lost the message probably. Do you, like, in general, when you go to Anarchapulco, or as you have done, Sam, to Liberpulco as well, when you meet the crowd there, many people have said, okay, here I can feel more at ease. Here I don't have to convince anyone. I don't have to explain. I feel kind of part of my tribe. In the spiritual or the conscious, or what, like, yogic perspective, do you have a little bit higher hope of the world when you are at Anarchapulco or Liberpulco, or is it you can still notice many self-built prisons and cages in the people that you meet there, or how is it?
Yeah, so they're observable in their language, especially. I can spend a few minutes with someone and very quickly appreciate the construction of the inner torture chamber. And the beauty for me is to realize that it's actually all perfect. So even though I do a talk on silence and I share with you my observations, see, the observation is, am I being called to transform, or are the people in front of me being called to transform? And the answer is yes. So all that I can do is respond to what I observe, what I see. Yeah, in a yogic capacity, what is really important is to do this in a detached, non-judgmental way, so that the space is continually there for each and every one of us to grow into our true capability, our real potential. And so therefore, if we enter into judgment or comparison, we immediately shut ourselves down, and we shut the person in front of us that we're talking to down. So I will be attending with my feet on the ground and my head in the clouds and my heart wide open.
Okay, so you managed not to get upset and angry when when observing the personal stages.
Yeah, we're there to help, not to judge. It's not.
Yeah, but that's a high achievement. I mean, those inner judges, that's like, towards ourselves and towards others, they are so present and strict, and even sometimes, even without realizing, at least I can notice, oh my God, I'm judging at this exact moment.
Yeah, so it's about transfiguring people, and this was the talk that we did last time we were at Anarchapulco. So if you see the best in someone, you see the good qualities in them, and expand on those rather than focusing on any of their, let's say, their faults or things like that, because that will actually energetically help them. So if someone walks into a room and you're getting agitated by them or irritated, they will actually feel that energetically anyway. So that's not going to help you because you're getting affected by them. So it's important to really detach from that and try and, see that person as the best version of themselves. And actually we can do this with the world as well. And I'm very optimistic about what's happening in the world now. People are waking up, at a very fast rate. We've got, Anarchapulco and Liberpulco helping people to wake up, to give them solutions, to create the world that we want to live in. So yeah, this is really how I'm feeling at the moment.
And Greg already did, but would you like to give us a little sneak peek in your talk, or are you guys going to be talking together at Liberpulco?
Well, we're going to talk separate. I've been giving you some teasers for my talk.
Yeah,
so I'm hopefully I'm putting off the people who choose to stay in their comfort zone. They'll be in bed when I'm speaking. But all those brave souls that are ready for change and transformation, then, they will come and enjoy an exchange of energy, because I intend to be uplifting and inspirational and aspirational. And I'm coming to speak to the hearts of people. And in this way, hopefully get people to choose to change in a small way or a large way, in any way.
Yeah, and what about you, Sam?
Yeah, so I'll be telling people about my own journey, helping to inspire people to go on this spiritual journey, to transform themselves, to get into this energy of freedom, change their frequency, and to uplift themselves through spiritual practice and other things.
Thank you. So one more thing. Do you guys want to talk about some of the events, some other events that you are planning on your platform or to your community, or are you going to be part of in the nearest future?
Yeah, so, come and join us on the school platform, which is free. We have 2 meetings a week on there. The first meeting is Monday Mindset, where we help people to work at the mental game of life, to improve, to sharpen, to be able to find your keys when you want to. And then we, on a Thursday, we have Midweek Momentum, which is also free, where members of the community have laid out the journey that they're on from 0 to 1. And then we, as a community, look at the bottlenecks, the roadblocks, the challenges, the difficulties, or the illusions of the mind, which, depending on, how you want to face it and express it. And we help people then to work through, to overcome. And we're there to nurture, to love, to support, and at times to be direct. The other thing to note is that we won't steal people's lessons from them. So sometimes people might make a request, and even though we could solve it, we won't, because it's important for them to undertake that part of the journey for themselves. An example would be a mother or a father doing the homework for their child, stealing the lesson, and then when exam time comes around, the child can't complete the exam. And this is the same in life. We've got people in their comfort zones constantly having the lesson stolen from them. And yet we're here to support change, inner transformation, and people achieving their objectives in a way that transforms their inner attitudes. And then one other thing I would like to add is that at Liberpulco, Sam and I will be doing a workshop. And, we'd love people to come along and attend the workshop, to come and challenge us and also be challenged. And in that way, enjoy transformation live, up front, and in person.
Thank you. And we also run transformational retreats, and these are at our home in Windermere in the UK in the beautiful Lake District. So these are for corporates or CEOs, busy people who want transformation within 5 days. And so that's available. You can go onto our platform on School. Greg also does one-to-one coaching, and I help people with my angelic breath, which is for traumas, negative beliefs, etc. And you can go onto the angelic breath at -breath.com. We are, as I say, we've got a talk each at Liberpulco and the workshop. So we're looking forward to meeting people, and hopefully people will come and see our talks and visit the workshop as well.
Yes, thank you. I will definitely be very happy to meet you guys in person. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to join all the things you're going to offer because I'm going to be working, but anyway, I will at least be able to feel your energy, guys. So yes. So yes, our audience. So I hope that you guys gonna check out all the links that are in the description below to find out more about Greg and Samantha's work, and then meet you at the Liberpulco. So thank you for today. Thank you for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace, love, and anarchy, everyone.
Peace, love, and anarchy.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Great to chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, anarchists, freedom lovers, and rebels with a cause. Get ready for Liberpulco, the most anticipated anarchist gathering of the year in Europe. Join us at Arc Liberland Village right here in Apatin, Serbia for an unforgettable experience. We're talking inspiring speakers, hands-on workshops to ignite your passions, and epic parties that'll keep you moving all night long. And don't miss the highlight, a boat cruise to Liberland itself. Connect with like minds, share ideas, and build the future we believe in. Grab your tickets now at Liberpulco.com. That's Liberpulco.com. Your freedom, your community, your revolution. See you there.